Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Juliana and today a story time video. I haven't done a story time in forever. Usually my story times are like quick little waitress story times, but this is a story time about how I got suspended. I have held off on making this video. I'm not quite sure why. I think there's like a few reasons. First of all, it was a while ago. Second of all, it has a tiny bit of illegal content. And third of all, I just kind of felt bad about like exposing my high school like this. But at the same time, as much as I love some of the teachers there, I don't owe anything to my high school anymore. They've done some really stupid things over the years and been like complete assholes to me at times. So I really don't feel that bad about this at all. So let me set the scene. I went to an all-girls Catholic high school. There was a boys portion, so we did have class with boys, but we weren't in class with boys. We wore uniforms. It was a very private school, the whole shebang, religious, and we had these school dances. And at the time of this school dance, I was in grade 11. I had an exchange student living with me, and I had this group of friends, and we all drank. I'm not ashamed of saying that. I was definitely drinking before I was legally old enough to drink. I don't condone drinking. I don't recommend drinking, but for the sake of the story, you're gonna have to know that I was drinking before I was 19 years old, because obviously I was drinking when I was in grade 11. So there was this big school dance coming up. I think it was the last school dance of the year, but I'm not 100% sure. It was our semi-formal, which means we dressed up a little bit more. And I honestly wasn't that excited about the dance because, I don't know, like some of the like fun of school dances had kind of worn off by this point. I remember I was also like working a lot and I had to take time off for the dance, and like it was a whole drama with my work and everything. Long story short, my friends and I all decided we were going to the dance, and so we did. And a girl in the grade above us was throwing a party for after the dance, and we were gonna go there and we were gonna be drinking. The girl who I had staying with me, who was an exchange student from the US, she did not drink, she could not drink, and she was like completely committed to not drinking at all because she's on this school trip and she didn't want to risk getting in trouble. So I never did drink at a school dance because I always thought that was just so risky. Like that just seemed so bad to me. So many people who I knew did drink at school dances. It made me uncomfortable, and the people I went with were really drunk because they just would get so out of control, and the teachers always knew. I remember one time a teacher at my school like looked at me and he was like, "Control your friends or I'm gonna have to kick them out." So I just always had this stress that existed around the idea of drinking at school dances, and that's why it's so ironic that this whole thing happened to me. So we all decided we were gonna drink after the school dance at this girl's house, and we were gonna bring alcohol and take it there. Usually when I went to dances, I got ready with my friends and all that, but this time I wasn't able to because the girl who was staying with me like wasn't comfortable going to like the girls' houses, so we got ready at my house and we were going to the dance. The plan was as follows. I was gonna pack up my bag with everything I needed for the dance and for after the dance. I was going to bring it in the car. My mom was gonna drop myself and my friend who was the exchange student off. She was gonna keep my bag with this alcohol in it with her, and then she was gonna pick us up 3 hours later at the end of the dance and drive me and a number of my friends over to this party. So again, my mom knew I had this alcohol, whether that was okay or not in people's eyes. My mom knew I was drinking, and she was just like the kind of person who like made sure I was safe about the drinking. So I feel like I should mention what I had packed alcohol wise. I had 2 cans of Mike's Hard Lemonade. I can't believe like I got in trouble for having 2 cans of Mike's Hard Lemonade, but this is what happened. So at the very last minute before I left the house, my mom started saying how she was feeling like really sick or something. I don't remember exactly what happened, but she was like, "Juliana, is there any way you can just get a ride with someone else, bring your bag to the dance, take it with you, etc." Neither of us, neither my mom nor I, was thinking of the fact I had alcohol in my bag because I never would have intentionally have brought that alcohol onto school property like under the circumstance. But anyway, I don't remember who ended up driving us to the dance. My exchange student friend and myself both ended up at the dance. I have my bag and I get up to the door, which was inside the school. So you like walk in the door of the school and then you walk like through another door. So I was already in the school with the bag. And the woman standing there was like this super young, bubbly teacher at my school. I'm not gonna name her, but people who went to the school will know who she was. She was a super young, bubbly teacher who now is in a position of like extreme power at the school, which I think is really shocking given this story. I walk in the door and she goes, "Hey guys, like we're checking bags tonight." And she 100% did not expect I was gonna have alcohol because at this time I was like a really, really good, like goody girl at my school. I was a prefect, which means I was like kind of in charge of behavioral stuff at my school. And she was like, "Can I see in your bag?" And immediately like my head goes, "Oh my God, I accidentally just brought alcohol into my school." So I say to her, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I have alcohol in my bag." And she looks at me, doesn't look in my bag. She says, "Just give it to me." So I handed her the bag and she goes, "Don't worry about it. Go enjoy the dance. It's gonna be okay." So I walk into the school, she takes the bag, she walks into the office, and I went to go to coat check. There's no one else in the office, it's just her. I watched her tuck my backpack like right into the corner of the room, way out of the way. I go into the dance, and then I called all of my friends immediately. I was like, "Oh my God, guys, if you have bags, if you have alcohol, don't bring them in." I remember all my friends stashed their bags in this like bush right outside the school, which was like a pretty classic place for people to leave alcohol. And then they all came in. They were all loaded, out of their minds drunk. It was insane. And like nothing happened for a while. Then I saw this teacher like maybe half an hour later, and I was like, thank you. I was like, thank God. It was just her, like it's not like I gave her away. Then about 10 minutes later, I went to the bathroom, which happened to be close to her classroom, and I see her in there on the phone, freaking out. She's on the phone, she's like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. She's like freaking out to somebody. At this point, I assume it was her husband, but it could have been like another teacher at the school, I don't know. So at this point, I start to kind of clue into the fact that things are going awry, and I called another friend and she was like, do you want me to come pick you up? And I was like, no, because I feel like if I leave, I'm gonna be in more trouble, which I do stand by still. Like I genuinely think if I had left, I still would have gotten in as much trouble as I did, so anyway, not a good situation. Then I see her go downstairs, and in my head, I'm just like, okay, this is all like I'm over. So I go into the dance, I'm dancing around, I'm enjoying myself, and our school dean comes in and she's like, I need to talk to you. And I was like, oh, okay. And she was like, come down and talk to me. And I go into her office and she goes, Juliana, I know you brought alcohol into the dance. And I was like, yeah, I did. Like, I didn't mean to. I didn't even know it was happening. I'm not drinking. I don't have the alcohol for here. She goes, no, I know you're not drinking. Like, it's okay. Like, you're not drunk. You're not drinking. And in my head, I was just so annoyed because all of my friends were so drunk and all the teachers knew. But anyway, I internalized that and I just took it all, and she goes, so Juliana, there are gonna be some repercussions of this, just so you know. And she goes, do you know anyone at this dance who's drinking? Do you know where there might be any other alcohol? So she wanted me to tell her that my friends were drunk, and she wanted me to tell her that they had alcohol hidden outside. And I was like, absolutely not. At that point, I was very, very loyal to my friends. And I was like, nope, no one's drinking. There's no other alcohol here, nothing. I assume there was some kind of like mini plea bargain going on there, that if I had given more information, I would have gotten in less trouble, but whatever. So it's like, nope, no one has alcohol, blah, 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 blah. At this point, I'm crying. I was like really upset that I got myself in the situation because I genuinely did not mean to do it. I did not mean to bring in the alcohol. The alcohol was for after the dance. I didn't mean to create the situation. I thought I was okay because this teacher, like, I'm sure she won't say this, but like she said it was okay. And I told the dean that. I told her, I was like, the teacher told me it was okay. She told me that everything was gonna be fine. My dean goes, we're gonna have to call your mom. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. I already told my mom. And she was like, oh, okay. So she called my mom and she's like, hey, like Juliana brought alcohol into the dance. And my mom was like, oh, darn, like that wasn't supposed to happen. And the teacher was like, you have to come pick her up. And my mom goes, oh, I'm in the bath. Can't you just send her home? My mom, like, she did not care about this at all, like not in the slightest. It was good that my parents didn't care because it wasn't a big deal, but I was like also still very stressed about like what kind of trouble I was gonna get into to this, like just through my school, because when I was in grade 11, obviously it could have been on my like permanent transcript had they chosen to do something. They left me waiting until Monday. The dance was on a Friday. They left me waiting until the Monday. My mom picked me up. I went home. I stressed all weekend. And first thing on Monday morning, I had to have a meeting with them to decide what they were gonna do. And the first thing they told me is that they didn't actually even know that I brought alcohol in the dance because I never looked in my bag. Which I can't believe. They never looked in my bag. They had my bag the whole time. They said, but we assume it was a lot of alcohol because your bag was quite heavy. Now, I don't know what you guys do, but back in like high school, I never emptied my bag out. So my bag was like all of my textbooks, all of my stuff, plus these 2 cans. And they're like, we assume you had a lot of alcohol. And I was like, no, I only had 2 cans. And I remember I sent them a picture of every single thing that was in my bag that night so they could know how heavy my bag would have just like naturally been. Okay, I should mention, I was a poster child for my school. I was like literally on their posters. I was like the example that they used in the yearbook. They had quotes of me plastered around the school, etc. So the last thing they wanted to do was like mess that up for them. But they were like, we don't want to mess things up for you. We don't want to make getting into university difficult. We don't want this on your permanent record. And I was like, oh, yes, not my permanent record, works for me. They're like, we do need you like to write an incident report. So I write an incident report very clearly explaining what happened with the teacher who let me in. I'm like, this teacher told me it was gonna be okay. This teacher knew I had alcohol. This teacher attempted to hide the alcohol. I don't know if they ever took that seriously, but I will mention I never saw that teacher chaperone another dance for the entire time I was in school. So for the next entire year, I never saw her chaperone a dance. I'm pretty sure she was on some kind of weird probation, yet somehow ended up being in a position of power the next year after I left. So I don't know what the deal with that is. What they ended up doing as my punishment was an in-school suspension, which means that during school hours, during classes, I had to be suspended. So it was a 2-hour in-school suspension. So I had to pick any time. I picked, not them, I picked the time. So I could have picked like my least favorite class and just skirted out, you know? But I didn't. I picked when I had a free period. So I missed half of an economics class and one full free period, and I had to do my suspension, which meant I could do any kind of homework I wanted for 2 hours and I had to be supervised. And the whole thing is because my school was just stupid. They didn't check my bags, they had no provided alcohol, they didn't call the cops when they were supposed to, and I think they recognized that it was really this teacher's fault for causing the whole thing. I mean, my fault, I brought alcohol in, I'm not innocent, but she was the one who said it was all fine, no big deal, Juliana, it's okay. And then they had one final punishment that they wanted to give me, and I think they wanted to do this because I knew that they didn't really like punish me that much, but they thought this was gonna be the end of the world for me. So they're like, Juliana, since you have an exchange student living with you, you have to admit to the woman who runs the exchange program what you did. And they thought this was gonna be the end of the world, and I was like, all right, sure. So I emailed the lady and I'm like, can you come talk to me? And she comes and talks to me during my suspension, and she's like, what happened? And I was like, I just want to admit that I brought alcohol to the school dance accidentally, I was caught, and I'm now serving a 2-hour suspension. And the teacher goes, oh, that's okay, Juliana, no worries. Things like that happen. I used to drink when I was younger, no problem at all. And she just walks out. She has no problem. I mean, the woman and I were really good friends. I think we still are, but she didn't care at all. I literally think the dean at the time was shocked. She thought I was like actually going to be in shit, and I was not at all. But yeah, that's the story of when I got suspended. People at the time didn't even really believe it was happening because I was like the least likely person ever at my school to get suspended and then somehow ended up suspended. There are so many girls I knew who came to school drunk or doing drugs, or at dances drunk or doing drugs, or brought alcohol to school on a regular basis. None of them ever got caught. I just had horrible luck and got caught. But yeah, that's basically the story. If you went to school with me, still go to that school or work for that school, I don't really mean anything bad to literally anyone about anything. I definitely think the administration of that school is crooked and definitely not ethical, but I'm just gonna skip over that. That's probably a story for another day. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe it gave you a laugh. Maybe it's like a lesson for you guys to learn about being a little bit more careful. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I appreciate every single person who subscribes to my channel, so definitely subscribe if you want to hear more story times. Comment down below ideas for other videos, and like this video if you enjoyed it. I hope everyone's doing really well. I have so much more content to come, and I hope you guys have a great day.